Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again here on the radio dial in Mississippi, WYAD 94.1 FM. We welcome you all back to our program. Also, those tuning in online around the world, thanks to WYADonline.com, as well as iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. Glad you all could be with us as well. We're excited to welcome Miles Gannett to our program today to talk to him not only about his love of music, but what it's been like for him to share that love with all of us. This year, he's preparing for the release of his new project called Meridian. The title track is available. We'll let you guys know how to be able to enjoy that. We'll talk to him about storytelling and how a visit to my home state kind of inspired this new project, and, of course, let you guys know how to stay connected with him. Miles, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Cyrus. It's good to be here.
Well, Miles, a lot for us to talk about. Again, congratulations to you on the project Meridian. You've been doing a lot of these interviews talking about it. I read an article just on your Instagram today. What has it been like for you to see the way that people are responding to the new music?
It's been great. You know, it's just getting started. I think the single, the title track Meridian came out. I want to say it was about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, and it's been getting great response from people who like country music and Americana music and rock music. So it's been I've been happy with it so far.
As I mentioned, you know, the album is, of course, about a visit to my home state of Mississippi. I want to talk to you before we get more into that about storytelling in particular. Have you always known that telling stories through music was something that you wanted to do, Miles?
Well, I've always known that I wanted to write songs and express something through music, but I think it's I've been writing songs since I was very young. But I think it's mostly in the past decades when I started listening to singer-songwriters like John Prine and Townes Van Zandt that I really got more interested in the storytelling aspect of that.
Mm-hmm. And now here you are being able to have music for people to be able to enjoy. And I mentioned to you before we went on, I noticed that, of course, as we all were dealing with the year that was 2020, you were able to use music not only as an escape for yourself, but also for other people too. What was that like for you to bring people together, Miles? Because you did several lives last year and even going into this year. What was it like for you to have that connection through music with people, even though you all were connected virtually?
It was great. I was doing a weekly live stream. At first, I was doing every Saturday for 3 hours, which was turned out to be a little bit much, but I kept that up for a couple of months. Yeah, because I was doing a weekly gig at a bar in Baltimore from 5 to 8. And so one day, the first day that it was canceled for COVID, I just decided to do a live stream, and I kept the same time slot. It ended up being kind of a lot to come up with new material every week for people who were tuning in, but it was great. Like I felt a lot of support from people, and they definitely seemed to be very grateful, especially in those early months of COVID and being locked down, to have an event they could attend virtually, and there was even interaction in the comments between the people who had tuned in, and people were requesting songs, and so I'd learn the requests for the next week. It was really nice, and I feel like it. I grew a lot as a performer, having to do such a long live stream every week for a couple of months.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, and again, another thing I noticed when I was prepping for this, Miles, is that, I went back through, I think, even to 2018, maybe 2019 even, looking at some of your videos. What has it been like for you to see your own growth? I mean, it's one thing for people to be following you, but as the artist yourself, what has it been like for you to see your own growth?
It's been great because I started out singing and playing guitar and writing songs and even performing when I was still in elementary school, and I attained a certain level of playing and writing and singing pretty early on, and so that being a guitarist and a songwriter, there's an aspect of it that feels very natural to me because I started so young, but it's also sometimes felt really hard to grow, because it's like, well, this is just what I am, and maybe the way I play it's not classically trained. I might have picked up bad habits, but I play in a way that's really natural to me. So I finally feel like I've been able to break out of sort of the whatever plateau I had made for myself and started to grow. So in particular, I started not taking my voice for granted and started actually working on my singing. So now I'm finally at a place where I can go and listen to recordings, live recordings of myself and not kind of cringe.
Yeah.
I feel like
wow.
I'm actually at a place where I can kind of listen to it and be like, okay, that's good. I could still see where I want to improve, but it's been a time of a lot of growth for me as a musician that which I haven't experienced a growth like this for years, I'd say.
And not only are you experiencing this growth, again, you're able to share that with all of us. So as we get into Meridian, I want to talk about inspiration for a moment, because I think as creative individuals, we sometimes find inspiration from the world around us. Talk to us about how Meridian came about.
Well, the album, actually all 11 songs on the album were in progress or in process of recording. And then my wife and I decided to take a road trip in April of, I guess it was April 2019. And we went down to my home state, Louisiana, and hung out in New Orleans. It was her first time going to New Orleans, so that was really fun for us. And then we drove out to Lafayette, which is where I was born. The home of Zydeco and Clifton Chenier, and a lot of good Cajun country music comes from there. So we got to walk around my hometown, and then we were driving up to Nashville to see some friends, and there were these tornadoes going up and down the coast, and we hit a bad storm and needed to find a place to pull off. And the next town where it looked like we could get some food was Meridian. I didn't know anything about Meridian. I knew who Jimmy Rogers was, but I didn't realize he was from there. And we pulled in and parked right in front of the statue of Jimmy Rogers. And I met the country singer Daniel House and sat in on his set that night. And then the next morning we drove around the town and looked at all the architecture and had some nice conversations with people, and it was really kind of a magical experience. So then I went home and read more about the town, and I had this melody that I was working on, and it just kind of came together, a song inspired by Meridian. And then I went into the studio and said, this song has to be on the album, and we recorded it. Right then, it was the last song that we recorded for the album, and I thought the feeling of it and sort of like the vibe of the town and the message in the song, I thought kind of encapsulated the whole album in a way that even though I hadn't been to the town when I wrote most of the album, so that's why I named the album after the song.
And now here we are with you gearing up for the release. I want to say for those who are just tuning in on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome Miles Gannett to our program today. We're talking to him not only about his musical journey, but also what it's been like for him to do work that he loves, as you just heard him say. The new project is called Meridian, coming soon, but the title track is out now. I referenced social media earlier, and we're going to let our audience know how to stay connected with you, Miles, but how much did that help you? Because I noticed, when I was prepping for this, it seemed as though that connection was important to you online during everything going on in 2020. But how much did social media help to kind of keep you in a good place?
It helped, especially through being able to do live streams. That, as I said before, it helped keep my chops up musically, but it also, I think, was beneficial to my mental health, being connected to friends and family, and having an audience online, and a community of other musicians who are online too.
Yeah.
I also watched some other. Oh, what was that?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Miles.
Oh, no, yeah, I was just going to say that I also, it was nice watching some live streams from other musicians who I know, and I was able to feel connected to them through social media.
Yeah, definitely I think has been quite a lifeline. So when people hear Meridian, what do you hope, because it holds a personal connection to you, but what do you hope those who listen to it, what do you hope they take away from Meridian?
Well, I think of it. I always feel kind of funny about that question, because I might, whatever they take away from it might be really meaningful and valid, but it might not be something I've even thought of. I think that art should be kind of left open in that way. But I do think of it as a love song, sort of the message being to me that. No matter like what sort of conditions we're living in, or how well we're doing financially, or like if maybe things were better in some ways before, which I think is really a myth anyway. But that as long as you've got love, you're going to be all right. I think that's sort of the message that I was trying to put into the song. But I would love for it to just be open, and if it speaks to people, however it speaks to them, I think that's great.
It's a good point. And that's a great connection with our audience. Again, everyone, Miles Gannett has been our guest. We've been talking with him not only about the musical journey, but also the new project, Meridian. So, Miles, we've set it up then. How can our audience stay connected with you and, of course, be able to support the music?
Definitely following me on social media would help to stay updated on what I'm doing and the when the album's out. And I've got all my links up on Instagram in my bio. And on Facebook too. So you can go to the title track, the lead single Meridian. You can check it out on Spotify or Amazon or Apple Music, whatever your preferred streaming platform is. It's also on YouTube. And if you connect with me on Instagram and Facebook, you'll see my see what I have going on.
Yeah. And definitely invite you all to do that. Miles, congratulations to you, man. Really excited to be able to speak with you. Glad that our audience will be able to support Meridian, and looking forward to our next conversation together.
Great. Thanks so much for having me on, Cyrus. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, the pleasure's definitely all mine, man. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.